What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 40, which is kind of crazy to me, of Classic Life. My boy Sarthe is meeting his grandmother. He said he's going to be here, but he'll be super late. Let me tell him no worries right now if he is coming here, because he's got some real life stuff to deal with, so it's okay. But today we have a special guest that everybody probably knows by now. And let me make sure I'm recording. That would suck if I'm not. Cool. Yeah, we have a special guest today. It's Scottejaye. You know who it is. My friend, how are you doing, brother?
I'm really good, mate. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for coming on the show, bro. I appreciate that. And how are you? Pretty hyped for seasons? I
am extremely hyped. The problem at the moment is there's just not enough hours in the day.
Yeah.
You know, as in, like, I just, well, like I said to you before we just went live, my sleep pattern and just the amount of sleep I'm actually getting at the moment is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
There's just so much, isn't there? Like, to say really we know very little. But even though we know very little, there's still so much to think about.
Yeah.
I cannot wait. It's the most excited I've been about WoW, since, I'd say before 2019, before Classic launched. I'd probably say it's the most excited I've been since probably like Mists of Pandaria was first announced or something like that, going really far back. Because, like we've played on loads of private servers together and that, vanilla's never been my thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's the one iteration of the game that I actually hate, to be fair. But with what they've done with this, I am extremely excited. And it's funny because up until about 10 minutes before the announcement, I was like, no matter what the seasonal server is, I won't be playing it. No, I will not be playing it because they're not going to go far enough with their changes. I just won't play it. And then they announced it and I was like, oh shit, I'm playing it.
Yeah. I did not. I'm with you. I'm not a big Classic guy. I didn't really like Classic that much. I think we both quit rather early when we played it. But I was very excited for TBC. I haven't been this excited since TBC, and I'm kind of a little more excited than I was in TBC. I didn't expect this many changes, and I know a lot of people there's a lot of people who you probably see in the comments who hate all the changes, and I'm gonna quit and all this shit. But I love this. Is like probably all these changes is. This is what makes me want to play it. If they didn't change a lot of the stuff like they're doing now, I probably wouldn't be playing whatever this next season is. So I think
I'm with you.
Yeah, it's super exciting. I've been excited for a long time, and I hope it does good. I really hope it does, and I hope I hope it does good. I really do. I hope it's not too boring. I don't think I'm kind of worried about is that how long are we going to sit at level 25. At first that kind of threw me off a little bit, like sitting at 25 for a while, but I just decided to have some alts and make it better,
Yeah, I still don't think it will last very long.
Yeah,
if I'm honest with you, I don't think we'll like. The thing is, it's still a seasonal server. So it still has a finite amount of time that it's going to last. So they'll have a plan. They might want the whole thing to last 18 months. Let's say, normally a seasonal server is a year, but let's say it lasted 18 months. We can't sit at each bracket for particularly long.
Yeah, we can't because I would say I hope it's like 4 to 6 weeks, 4 to 6. I know they said 4 to 10, but. Because you have to do 25 and then 40 and then 50, and then you still have to do all the in-phase content. Like you still have to, I don't know if they plan to do like the normal MC and MC, BW, AQ, and Nax and stuff. Whatever else they add, if they add new raids, I know they're going to change them probably, but I don't know how it can't. And they talked about, didn't they flirt with Kata in the beginning? I don't know. I just hope the timeline doesn't get squished, and I don't want like Kata to get like over like people just don't care about Kata because people are already kind of like wishy-washy with Kata. And I don't want them to get too distracted because I am excited for Cat as well, as I know you are too. But I am very excited for this entire. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's making me play stuff that I've never normally like. I'm going to play a Shaman just because it just looks fun. I don't know why, a Druid, which we'll get into pretty much later. But yeah, I just want to go over the class runes. I know you've done, which we'll link specifically all the time throughout the episode in the chat and in the description for anybody watching the YouTube VOD, but we're gonna go over the classes and just kind of talk about them, our thoughts on them. You guys kind of know my thoughts on a lot of them, but I want to hear his thoughts because he knows more than most people do because of all the videos that he's been doing on it. And I like your videos so much. I'll be driving, and I hate driving, but I'll be driving and I have like a little 15-minute drive or whatever, and I'll be like, oh, Scottejaye, put on some shit that I already know, and I always learn from it. It was like perfect. Like the priest one, because the priest one I didn't deep dive, and I was just kind of like watching WillE's video and then watch yours. And I was like, and yours, you just hit it off so perfectly, and I was like, yeah, there we go. All right, cool. I like it.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, the thing is, there's like I come at it probably from a different angle to most, which this is not me like fucking blowing smoke up my own ass because that'd be weird. But having played on so many private servers and played Ascension, played, TBC servers, RAF servers, Kata servers, MOP servers, and played all through, retail. Like most of these abilities where people are looking at them and they're like, oh my God, like this is amazing. It's like, mate, we've been using this for like 5 years. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
So like then, but the little changes to the abilities, obviously I noticed. I'm like, oh shit, like that's cool. There's still a few that slip through the net, but that's probably more classes I don't really care about.
I like that my favorite thing about your stuff is when I was watching the priest guide, and I don't know if it was a prayer mending. It was prayer mending, I think. And you were like, I went through every single patch from start to finish, the entire of all expansions to make sure that this was correct or whatever. I was like, damn, I don't remember exactly what the example was, but I was like, okay, he did that. And the thing about difference from you and a lot of people is that we played retail. Like we played almost all the expansions. Obviously we play it less than we used to before Classic, but we played the expansions, so we know the classes and different ones. So when you see an ability, you're like, oh, this is from retail, or this is from Legion, or this is from WAD or something like that, MOP, and it's dope. That's why it's just dope. That's why your input matters a lot, versus someone who's never played anything but like Classic.
Yeah, I know. I appreciate that. My honest thoughts about it all, though, about all the classes, is like what they've done is good, but on the basis we've still got level 40. Well, sorry, yeah, we've still got level 40, 50, and 60, which each one of those is going to add new runes. We know we're going to get runes on belt, bracers, cape, shoulders. Like, I hope that this is about what we get. As in, like, yes, add more runes, but they're more passive, or they affect the runes that we've already got. Rather than by the time we get to 60, we've literally just got a toolkit so big that, it makes it almost a bit overwhelming. Because I actually think how they've done them, like even Warlock, when you compare vanilla Warlock, where you literally just press Shadow Bolt, to what it looks like you'll be doing now, even at level 25.
Wow.
Exactly, it's mental. You don't really need much more than what you've got. What you need is just some passives to boost some of what you've got at level 25. I
agree. That's a good statement. Yeah. I just want to go over some classes, and then also while we're doing them, maybe I want to slide in what we think could be a cool rune in the future they can add. You know what I mean? I think that'd be kind of fun. I don't feel like nobody really talks about that. What was your thoughts on the rune system when BlizzCon was happening and you were watching it, and they said, level 25, yada yada, and then you watched the what's next for Classic and saw the runes? What was your initial thoughts?
I thought it was great. Yeah, quite honestly, I did worry instantly, like, oh, is this going to be too easy? And that is my primary concern even now. Having looked at some of the data mine stuff, like I've said that, like, there's a 7-day grace period on my channel. Like I will, if I find a rune and no one else has found it, I won't be posting a video about it. For 7 days. I'll be doing no spoilers for 7 days. So, like, even though you've probably looked at it on stream or whatever, the items, the items in the database where you can already see how you get some of the runes. We might not know where the actual the item comes from that you need, but it tells you exactly what you need to do. I hope some of them are really, really difficult. As in, just you will unlock it just doing something so random. Like that. I hope it's just not. Oh, look, here's a new quest giver, because that will be. Yeah, that's my primary concern. But if they nail it and they get it right, and some of them are an absolute bitch to find, then yeah, I absolutely love it.
I don't want it. And we can take a guess on this. I don't want all these runes for every class to be found day 3. Like, I want it to be we're a week over deep, and people are still looking for that meta rune, or people are still looking for whatever it is. And I have a feeling it's going to be quick because the internet. But I hope it's not. I really don't. I wanted, like you said, I want it to be hard. I want to be playing for like day 10 and I still haven't found my meta rune, right? Day 10, I still haven't found Living Bomb or whatever it is. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, and the thing is, so we was talking about this on a podcast recently, throwing some ideas around really easy things, like completely easy ways of getting runes, but that would take a while. So like if there was, for a mage, like one of the runes required you to teleport to each city in a specific order. So, like, it would just be so random for someone to
but you didn't know that you had to do that? You just like, all of a sudden, yeah, that's kind of cool.
It's just, oh shit, you went to Orgrimmar to go and do something, and then you was like, oh shit, actually, I wanted to be in Thunderbluff, and then for some reason you was like, oh, I'll go back to Orgrimmar now, and that was the rune. In 5 minutes, you had to teleport between Orgrimmar, Thunderbluff, and back to Orgrimmar.
Because why would you ever do that too? That's what's crazy. That's like the best part about it, right?
Exactly, and that's I'm hoping there's a few that are like that, where Blizzard are just basically fucking trolling, where it's like there's no way these are gonna find it.
Yeah, that's gonna be dope. God, I hope that's an achievement system or something. That'd be pretty cool too. I miss achievements.
Yeah.
I think achievements in games make everything better.
Yeah, I think if it was a progressive server, then achievements absolutely, and I like achievements as well. I love getting achievements. But in a seasonal server when they don't even know what's happening to our characters yet.
I think they said, or I think it was your video or Sarthe that I was watching where they found where some of the stuff was in PTR, where it was like for mages you had to find a scroll and then a charm and combine them to get a rune, or like the shaman had to take a certain amount of fire damage to unlock like lava lash or something like that.
Yeah, it wasn't me. Oh, well, as I say, I'm doing no spoilers.
Oh, okay, yeah, I think it was Sarthe then. Yeah, it was like it was one of those things where it looked like it wasn't just like a lift up a rock and get some, even though they said that in the interview, but it was like combined, like how the shaman had to take a certain amount of fire damage in order to unlock something to do. There was no detail on it. Something to do to get the rune, which I think is going to be interesting. They make it fun because that's what the longevity of being at level 25 is going to matter if it's not just found out right away. Plus these PvP tournaments coming up. There's a PvP tournament, a big one coming up like day 3 or 4. And there's gonna be a lot of them obviously, but it's gonna be fun to do it when people don't have all the, because you're just waiting for that main. A lot of classes have that main 1 rune or 2 runes like makes their class. I think it's gonna be really cool not to have it,
Yeah, no, I think it's gonna be great fun. As I say, the only one concern is by the time we all get to 25, we've got all 12 runes and there's not actually anything sort of left to discover. And the whole being at 25, when level 40 is coming, and it's probably going to be pretty quick just on the basis of how long it takes to get to 25, like how much longevity is there really in each phase? When level 60, everyone's shooting me down when I say this. Like I even think Blizzard will be looking at it as level 60 as the real end game. Like at level 25, yeah, they've done BFD. At level 40, they'll do Gnome Regon or whatever they're going to do. But, that's more just something to tide you over while they sort out the next phase. And that's it. It's buying their self-time. If they could release it all and, just say, right, every 4 weeks you're going to get a new level bracket, they probably would. But doing it like this, where it's a bit vague, it gives them extra time to actually finish each phase off.
Yeah.
But I will be really hesitant to sink ridiculous amounts of time in to like level 25 trying to get full bis, get it like literally every single item when it's like, well, in like next month it's irrelevant.
Yeah, it really will be. It's gonna be, there'll be people sweating it out, of course, but yeah, I agree with you on that completely. I was worried about the phasing at first, but now it's like, can you imagine just getting from 1 to 60 and then all of a sudden having every slot, whatever slots they said have runes, and you're just kind of like overwhelming. Obviously you figure it out, but I kind of like how it eases you in there slowly,
Yeah, I know, I like it. I do like the whole, I like the fact that it's in like bands, level bands. I worry that if it drags on too much, you're just going to see a drop off quite quickly,
Yeah. What do you think about the BFD being the raid over? I don't know what else it would be. What that level's on, like Dead Mines or something? How do you feel about that?
I mean, honestly, I fucking hate BFD.
Yeah, me too. Yes.
But what were they meant to do? It's like they couldn't do Wailing Caverns because that wouldn't be fair for the Alliance. They couldn't do Dead Mines, that wouldn't be fair for the Horde. I mean, Shadowfang Keep, even that would be a bit harsh for level 25s,
That's what I wanted
who are
to
playing
be,
Alliance.
SFK. I love SFK. That'd be such a cool...
As someone who's playing Alliance, I would take SFK over BFD.
We go there anyway. Like, most Alliance walk all year, so you can walk safely over there. It just takes a little while,
Yeah. But, I see what I've done it. And the fact that it's going to be a PvP zone, it's quite a big zone. It's fairly neutral, easy. Well, not neutral, it's contested. But, in terms of actually traveling there, it's fairly all right for all factions and all races. It's all right. From what I saw, again, I'm more excited by the classes and how the classes are going to play and finding the runes. Not really, like, there was no way on earth I would sit there and go, oh my god, BFD, that's going to be insane. Because I looked at it and was like, man, that looks like shit. That was genuinely what I thought when I looked at it. It was like, wow, like it literally looks like BFD, but you've made a turn a little bit.
Bro.
Some friends.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. That's crazy.
Yeah, so it's going to be cool. Once I actually get in there and start doing it, I'm sure it's going to be fun. It's going to be better than just doing a 5-man dungeon But on the basis I hated the place before, I can't imagine it's going to change my mind now.
Are you more of the side where you, because I know you're a serious raider in other expansions, are you more of you want it to be a little difficult in BFT, or are you ready just to go in there, clap it out, and get on about your business?
I don't think Season of Discovery. Now, like I'm all for tuned content. I like playing on private servers with people who know how to play because obviously it's a good challenge. I don't think Season of Discovery is the place where there should be a challenge, personally. Which at
least not at
you
25.
probably didn't expect me to say. Yeah, I mean, my biggest concern about all of it is the raid size at level 60.
I hope it's not 40 man. Are you on the 40 man side?
If it's 40 man, when we get to level 60, I won't be playing anymore.
Okay, yeah, yeah. God, we're like, I really don't like 40 men. I know that. I feel like we are against the grain on that. I feel like everybody likes 40 men, so I was surprised that you said that, but I despise it. I
hate it.
Despise it. It's too many people.
Yeah, I hate it. Yeah, 25 cool, 20 cool, 10. Like, I mean, 25. The thing is, when you really think about it, there's only in 20 years of World of Warcraft being out, there's only been one small time in history where it was 40 man, and that is vanilla. And I know that's why people like it, because you can't do it anywhere anymore. Well, other than on classic here, obviously in hardcore, but. Yeah. It's not for me. I'll enjoy all the level up raids along the way. I'll enjoy getting to 60 on multiple classes and enjoy all of that. But I'm not playing vanilla to go and do 40-man Molten Core again or 40-man Blackwing Lair again. And not even if it had massive changes. If it was buffed and it was like ridiculously hard, still raiding with 39 other people wouldn't interest me. I don't want to kill anyone's Season of Discovery hype, by the way. That's not my intention. It's just me personally. I will love the game still, and I will play the game on every class, but I just will not raid. Other than maybe when Zul'Gurub comes out, then I'll do that.
There you go. Yeah, I don't like 40 men either. I don't know why. I don't know why I hate it so much, but I do. It's one of the biggest qualms I had with Classic. Well,
it's pretty much the reason I stopped playing Classic, and was then playing TBC private servers with you.
Yep, same. That and how easy the raids were combined, I didn't. And the world buffs, but I guess that's changed. So I'm not. Oh, how do you feel about the world buff at the end of BFT? The boon of Black Fathom, I think it's called.
Yeah, cool little change. Whether world buffs are there or they're not, like as long as they're there for everyone or they're not there for anyone, I don't really care which. I'm not in either camp. When there's people who are like, no, like we need world buffs, and then there's others that are like, no, world buffs are shit. Like I like the extra content that having to get world buffs gives. I know it's mundane and it's just a task that you have to do, but it still gives you something to do, don't it? So I do like that. But then at the same time, it does like massively overinflate your player power when we've got ridiculous amounts of new runes that are coming in, where we're already going to be getting what looks like heavily inflated player power. Do we need world buffs as well? So I see it from both sides.
What I don't get is they said that you get the buff after the raid, at the end of the raid. I'm assuming it's on that little, when you do BFT as a dungeon, there's that little frost resistance and the frost buff you get. I don't know if it's there. What I want to know is what's the point of putting it at the end of the raid? Is there going to be a way to, which we don't know, so I'm just, speculating. How are you going to be able to get the buff and do the raid? So as of right now, they mentioned that it's at the end. When you do the raid, then you get it. So it's like...
Well, I mean, Chrono Boom's in, isn't it? Apparently. So,
yeah, but don't you have to go get it from, like... Western, or are they gonna have like a lower
level
one?
25. They've got to have a lower one. You would have thought.
I don't know. I have no idea. That they got to do something that, or because like how would you what are you gonna get it and do like?
Log off for 3 days. Get the buff. Log off for 3 days, and then go and do it again.
That's what I feel like is gonna happen. Is you're gonna clear the raid, do all the things you need to do it on the last day, and then get the buff, and then log out of that character, and then we're back to raid logging, which is gonna be annoying,
Well, yeah. Well, it's a rolling reset, isn't it? So technically, you could go and do it like 10 minutes before reset, and then go straight back in and clear it again. I don't know. I mean, unless there's a way to store it, unless it's like the Ashen Veil PvP, because they've already said that the Ashen Veil PvP one is an item that goes in your bag, and then you can use that world buff whenever you want. Yeah. So unless it literally is like that.
Yeah. Or like something like how you drop the head, quote unquote, how you drop a buff somewhere and it gets its own wide buff or whatever.
It's got to be like that.
Yeah, I think they'd be paying attention to it. Hopefully, I do like the buff though. It's better, especially usually Warlocks hate the buff, but this is better now because especially if you're Fire Dash, where you're able to crit some stuff. You're not all dot spec, So it's kind of exciting.
Yeah. Is that what you're going? Are you going? I know, obviously you're going Warlock. That goes without saying. But you said you were doing Shaman as well.
Yeah.
But are you going Fire Warlock?
I'm going. I'm gonna go whatever. My first Warlock is a what's the word? DPS Warlock. But it kind of depends. I want to go Fire Dasher. It's gonna depend on if for some reason, Haunt. I don't know if Haunt is just amazing, which I don't think it's gonna be. I don't think anybody thinks Affliction is gonna be amazing in 25. But if for some reason it is, then I would be. If it's better, yeah. But I'm definitely looking forward to Fire. I'm
Fire
always,
looks insane.
Yeah, it looks. I think, which we can get to a little later. I think Warlock's gonna be amazing right up there with a few other classes, but I'm definitely going Fire. I'm going Horde, Warlock, DPS, and then I'm immediately have my own guild on Alliance where I'm gonna be tanking the whole time it says Warlock, because my main guild they're not doing Warlock tanks. They're just straight Zug warriors and the typical tanks. I think Warrior Paladin.
Cool.
And then I'm gonna go Mage, and then I want to do a Shaman really bad. I'm really looking for the Shaman. It just looks fun. Enhanced, which we'll get down to, kind of struggling at 25. But other than that, I think I think Shaman's in a good spot. I don't know. I think I'm gonna go Warrior after that, because I think one thing a lot of people have said.
You're literally gonna end up doing them all. Don't worry.
Yeah, pretty much. But one thing everybody says for Classic is one of the reasons why I quit. They're like, well, it's because you're playing a Warlock. Like, it's not fun to play a Warlock in Classic. You're just spamming Shadables, putting the curse up, disrespected, doing no damage, highest threat, stuff like that. So I'm gonna try Warrior. I think it'll be a lot of fun. I play one on Lich.
Looks like it's gonna be good as well.
Yeah, I play one on Lich King, and it's fun. It's super fun. I know it's way different, but it's super fun on Lich King. And I'm starting to slowly. I've always been one of those guys where it's like, I'm a Warlock, and if you play anything else, you're a bitch. I mean, now that I played other classes, I'm like, okay, I'm having a lot of fun playing other classes now. Okay, so maybe I should shut up and try Warrior, instead of just shit talking them.
Well, my plan is first character is going to be Alliance, so we're going Alliance PvP, and I'm going to be a regen mage. So mage first.
Oh, you're going to heal?
As soon as that's yep. I'm going to be healing. So my first character is going to be a mage, but I'm going to be using 2 accounts. So at the same time, I'm going to be doing a little bit on a Paladin. I want them to both get to 25. Yeah, in the first day or two. Let's say 2 days. First 2 days, both of them to 25. So that'll be my Alliance PvP characters. Then I'm literally going to create Horde on NA. And I'm going to be doing a Shaman. So I'm going to be doing a Shaman and a Druid, but I don't know which way round I'm going to do them yet.
Yeah.
But again, I'm going to be doing those on 2 separate accounts as well. So I can level both of them at the same time.
Interesting that you said...
at the same time, not multi-box, but, as in, like, while, like, one's auto-running somewhere, I'll be on the other one doing another quest. That sort of thing.
Yeah. Interesting you said let's talk about Mage first then, because I am also, I do all the Mage guys for Wowhead, and I just got done with all my healing ones, and I'm actually excited to heal for them too. I don't know how good, nobody knows how good they're going to be, but what makes you excited? Why'd you choose Mage for healing? Because I know you are a big healer, Holy Paladin Priest and Druid and everything, so what made you go just to try something new, or?
Yeah, because in Cata I absolutely love Atonement Priest, and actually in retail, so how Mage is the Dragonflight Discipline Priest. Like it's literally more or less exactly the same, which is awesome, And there's just, I feel like so I've got a rep main, on NA with Shadowmourne, fucking pumps, like love it. But if I go rep first, which I would be rep if I'd done my Paladin first, I'm gonna have Crusader Strike, I'm gonna have Divine Storm. Like it's not that exciting. Whereas if I go Mage, it's like completely new. I've not even leveled a Mage in Wrath, so I've not played a Mage for quite a while, like not since private servers. So it's going to feel new straight away, and I think I'll be able to do some funky shit on it. As in, no one knows how the optimal way to play it. Optimal thing. I know we don't know that about all the classes, but for some of them, you can pretty much work it out.
Mage is really unknown.
Mage is an outlier.
Yeah, even in the Discord, we're already trying to figure it out. Where we feel like you can figure it out, but it's going to be hard. The thing that I'm worried about Mage healing the most is the mana. Like, I'm really actually worried about the mana. Even if you can stack a full intellect set, right, which you're going to, and then just your main heal is almost half your base. Obviously, it's base mana, not full what your mana is. So it's just that's almost half your base mana on one heal, which is kind of crazy to think about.
Yeah. I mean, I think early on, Arcane Surge is probably going to be a must, and you'll use it sort of at low mana just to get the regen, because it's 300% for 8 seconds, which is like 20% of an evocate. Which, that's decent when you think about when you evocate and the amount of mana that you get back, and this is like, I'm sure it works out about 20%. I think evocate's like 1,500% regen, and that's 300. Excuse me. So, it's like a mini evocate, if you're using it on cooldown. And obviously, you'd always use it when you're very, very low on mana.
You'd have
so
to.
that's my plan. But then using Arcane Blast as well. You know, having Arcane Blast, which then once you've stacked Arcane Blast a couple of times, that actually buffs regen, like your next regen cast. Instead of actually then using Arcane to do damage, I think the play would then be doing regen to get a more powerful hot to then go into doing Arcane damage. So I've been looking at exactly how I'm going to do it, but I think there's going to be some crazy Mage like metas of things you're going to be able to do. Like they're already strong at AoE grinding, obviously using Frost because they never get hit, but just putting regen on yourself and then running around spamming Arcane Explosion.
Yeah.
Would you die?
Yeah, I think that's the play. Is going to be regen, because mass regen to me is a little overrated. I think it's a lot of mana to get for a very little heal, but it just gives you the beacon on everybody too. But I like how regen, because you don't need to channel the whole beacon. You can just, like, as soon as you press it, it puts the beacon on them.
Yeah. The thing is with mass regen, there'll be like in raids, yeah, absolutely. But you're putting a beacon and then splitting the heal in between all of them, right? So, like, how often are you going to want to do that in 5-mans? You know, never.
Yeah, and there's also rapid regen too. That's on the thing. I don't know. We're not going to know if it's in there, but there's another spell called rapid regen, which is not a rune. It's just a normal spell. Same thing as regen, less mana, and a 1.5-second cast. It's actually a really good benefit to heal, and it still puts beacon on there, but it doesn't. The whole like PvP side of things, where it reduces your frost and fire and ice block and stuff. That part of it's not in there, and that alone is.
I think that's an old one. So that was added with like the 240 build of 1.15. So that was actually added before they then changed mass regen and regen.
I can't imagine. So if this is in the game, this is like a broken spell. Like the math was done, and it's like such a good. It would be such a good heal that it doesn't really. It doesn't make sense to put it in there. I hope it is, obviously, but it's gonna be crazy. Same with like the res. I think the res will be in there because that kind of makes sense, right?
That's gonna come.
Yeah, if you want to be a healer and you need it, and then they changed the curse to do curses and disposes. You know, both of those like make it a toolkit with there, which I think is great.
What do you think about rewind time?
I didn't like it at first, but after the nerf, I feel like it could be good. But at the same time, I can't imagine you not taking Arcane Blast. So I feel like even like the Mage Discord, something that we've all just kind of like conglomerated, if that's the right word, is you can choose one of two kinds of healing. You can just be like that tank healer where you're putting your beacon on the tank and you're just spamming DPS, right? You have Living Flame, which is going to be amazing. It's Spellfire, which means it's part of Arcane too. So you can sit there and, you know, put up regen and just go around your single target rotation with Arcane Blast, right? And that's just like 4 Arcane Blasts into Living Flame because it takes benefit, and then 3 stacks of Arcane Blast dumped with missiles over and over again until Living Flame comes off cooldown. And I feel like that's going to be, you can do tank healer, or you can just go all out heals where you're taking regen, mass regen, rewind time. I like rewind times cooldown being 30 seconds, and I feel like it could be a good cooldown if you're and it could help you more because just like atonement healing, you need to be proactively healing. You're not a reactive healer, right? You have to know the damage is coming. Okay, it's coming now. I already have my beacon up. There's the heal. Rewind time can help with that, I think, because like, it helps you, gives you kind of that reactive heal. But I just feel like if you're regening, if you take mass regen, rewind time, you're healing off of your Arcane Explosion or your missiles, which is missiles, obviously, as you know, is garbage at low levels. So it's just, I personally don't like rewind time that much. I would take, I can't imagine healing without Arcane Blast. Like, it's going to help so much. Like, I just feel like you need Arcane Blast for the big burst heals. Obviously, unless there's AoE, then you can, you know.
So I like rewind time. Like, I like the concept of rewind time. Like, rewind time you would take if Arcane Blast was, let's say, I don't know, a chest rune or a leg rune, whichever one mass regens on. I think that's the legs, right?
Yeah.
You know, if Arcane Blast was there, then you'd have rewind time. But I still feel like they've taken the cooldown from a minute to 30 seconds. But I feel like they could make it less powerful, but more frequent uses. So they put it down to 30 seconds, but never actually changed what the ability does. It does exactly the same thing. You know, why not have it as like a 10-second cooldown, but it only heals 50% of the damage that they took in the last 5 seconds? You know, so you can use it more frequently, more than just, oh shit, this person's about to die. You know, you could actually be more of a healer, putting regen on people, mass regen, rewind time, and who knows, obviously, what else is going to come. But this is not final, is it? That's what we need to remember. We talk about it like it's final. Literally tomorrow, all of this shit could change.
Like, because that if you use rewind time right, that could be nice because you could know that the boss is about to hit everybody for 60% of their health, and you got beacons on everybody, and you just rewind time right when that goes out, and you're just I feel like it has the potential to be a very, very, very good spell. I just don't know, you know. And then you have the balance of, like you said, I feel like Arcane Blast is going to be big. I wish it was in the leg runes, because these leg runes are kind of, I don't like Arcane Surge at all in PvE. I don't like, Icy Veins is nice, but that's just Icy Veins. I don't like Mass Regen. I like Living Flame a lot. I think it's going to be good damage. I think it'll be good healing. But I don't, you know, good AoE if you keep the boss.
Yes, so the way you said it there, and I've literally just glanced up at chat, and Tamaka's saying the same thing. Like, rewind time to me reads like it's a single target
one person.
heal,
yeah, I actually didn't even see that.
Yeah, so that's how I've been saying.
I hate it even more than I already hated it then. Yeah.
But it is confusing because it says your current target, so that would assume that you need to target the person and then press rewind time, and it'll instantly heal all damage taken over the last 5 seconds, and then it's ineffective on targets that didn't have a temporal beacon 5 seconds ago. So yeah, I genuinely think it is just a single.
It probably is.
When I first saw it, I was like, man, this is a little bit like Uplift to a certain extent. You know, if you'd compared it to a monk, where you would like put renewing mists on as many as possible, and then Uplift, which would just be a big heal, not to this extreme. But I read it as it would do it to everybody when I first looked at it. And then I've sort of more and more gone over to the side of the fence where it's actually just a single target heal.
I actually didn't read it like that. Yeah.
That's why it's dog shit.
Yeah, I would never use it then. I would never use it then. I can't imagine healing without Arcane Blast, just because of the synergy between healing, the damage, or the buff, right? Damage and healing of all the arcane spells, and plus this being your damaging ability too. I float between Mass Regen. I don't think I'd ever take Mass Regen, to be honest. I don't know. I think if you were taking just a full healer, like I am here to heal everybody in the raid, then maybe you could take all three. But I just don't. I feel like you just take Regen, Mass Regen, and Arcane Blast. Unless Arcane Blast changes. Arcane Blast is just too nice.
My plan, as I say, is definitely Regen, Arcane Blast, and Arcane Surge.
I feel like Surge could be good on a 2-minute cooldown, because you could use it one. I just feel like when you're really low on mana, you could use it, and you're only getting one use out of it. Versus, you know, I guess you get 2 Living Flames. I guess it's not that big of a deal. I personally don't like Arcane Surge. I would just need to see how it looks. Tomika also said he's in the math on average Spirit, and Surge was giving him like 500 mana at level 25, which is like a mana potion. That's a good way. That's a good way to look at it too, right? I guess we'll find out. That's like the one where nobody knows about.
The thing I don't like about Living Flame is it relies like Living Flame would be great if you're going with a tank that you know.
Oh yeah.
But you know, if you're just with random people, like Living Flame, well, there's so many effects that are on the ground. You know, like Living Flame and the bloody Rain of Fire, for the Warlock, Lake of Fire. That tanks are just going to be moving out of it because they're like, shit, what's
fire?
This? It's fire. I'm moving out of it. Yeah, and then you're like, oh great, thanks. That's all my damage gone, or that's all my healing gone. Like, cheers for that. So you know that's what worries me about these sort of effects. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. At the end of the day, I'm going to play with them all and work out what works best for me. But I like that there's options. I do think there's options. You know, even Icy Veins. You know, for big like throughput, that could be absolutely amazing. But then at level 25, you're not going to have the mana to be able to use it. But in later game, you will.
I was going to say, is the mana, I feel like. What about the DPS side of mages? I think they're going to be great. I think it depends on mana, but I think they're going to be pretty damn good.
I got to be honest. I've not really worried too much about the DPS side. I think it's going to be fun. You know, Fire's nearly got its toolkit, if you like. You know, as in it's got Living Bomb. You got Fireball. You got Burnout to get more crit. I feel like the thing it's missing is Hot Streak.
Yeah. Oh man, what if that came later?
I think it will.
Wow. Basis. I think it will too. That'd be crazy.
Well, Brain Freeze is already in the game files for 1.15, which is the instant fireball for Frost. Mm-hmm. So I would imagine in the same rune selection, like let's say it was in the belt, I reckon instant Pyroblast will be in there. I
feel like it could be, and then same and Arcane can get that one that I don't know what it's called, but makes them get a free missiles proc. Lich King.
Yeah.
Because that's the one thing Arcane they would need, right? Especially because Arcane Blast doesn't buff the damage of itself, so you're stacking and dumping with missiles already. So it'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Have that. Well, I don't forget what that talent's called, but you know what I'm talking about.
I think it's called well the actual buff I'm sure is called missiles ! If I remember rightly. But yeah, what it's actually called. I mean, the kata style of Arcane would be absolutely amazing. Because you
That's gonna bug me.
Yeah, I'm looking as well.
Missile barrage. Right? Yeah, I think it's missile barrage. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the actual buff is missiles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that'd be great. I can't think of. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. What if?
Yeah, definitely.
What if Frost got a summon water elemental? I feel like
they're the sort of things that will.
Yeah. There's so much random stuff that we have no idea what anything. Obviously, we're just having fun speculating. I think enlightenment is bait, and I've been seeing people say to take enlightenment. I think this is gigabait. You are rarely above 70% mana, that's for sure. And I don't think 10% of your mana regen.
You're under 70%.
Yeah, I don't think 10% of your mana is going to be worth, you know. Well, okay.
No.
Mage, we like it. We love. Mage is my second, pretty much my second. Well, I'm going 2 Warlocks first, but then Mage is the second class that I'm going to do. So I'm pretty excited for all of them except for Frost. I think it's really cool that, you know, closing on it is, you know, in Classic, you're just spamming Frost bolts until you can switch to Fire, right? So it's kind of boring early game. I feel like now you're finally going to be able to do other things. You have Fire, you have Arcane. So
I just think it's going to be fun just to be able to DPS and heal at the same time. You know, as I say, in Kata, I absolutely love the Atonement Priest. And this is going to be very similar. You know, in raids when I'm on my priest on White Mane, I literally don't even worry about people's health. I'm like, if you're not still close enough to the boss to get my atonement heals, then you're an idiot, mate. Move along.
Yeah, it's exciting because
spam smite.
Yeah, priest has been my favorite class in retail for a while, and the only reason because of atonement, and the only reason I don't play it in Classic is because they didn't have atonement. And so I'm even in Kata, like, because, you know, I'm excited to play a priest just because they have atonement. I feel like regen is something you can always take and heal, and you're missing out. Burnout's the best option otherwise, and like obviously it's 15% crit, but other than that, you're not missing out too much if you're just safe to take regen and just use it whenever people need it and just pump damage and just heal the tank and stuff. I think it's gonna be really fun.
Yeah, but I also do think that talking about priest, that even if it's at level 50 or 60 or whenever, they should get atonement.
Yeah, let's talk about priest now. I agree with you. It just makes sense. Atonement and obviously something to help their mana out because Jesus.
Yeah, for Shadow, I mean they've just got nothing, have they? Yeah. I mean the problem is like the runes that they've gave Shadow Priest are actually really good. You know, as in like Void Plague, Twisted Faith, they're both good. I love what they've done with Strength of Soul. Actually, the buff that they gave Strength of Soul is really good. But like, you know, being able to put Shadow Word Pain on 3 targets. So, you know, some of it's really, really good, but then it's like, what's the point of having all that good shit when you're in 2 seconds and you can't do anything?
And Shadow Word Pain didn't hit that hard. I think Shadow looks fun. Shared Pain, Twist of Faith, even Void Plague. It just looks a lot of fun. But I'm super worried about the mana. I'm still gonna play one. I'm definitely still gonna play one. But also, I feel like a lot of these are more. They're not single target based, right? I feel like they just kind of helped them on cleave and AOE. Like nothing's super, you know, Shared Pain's going to 2 targets. Mind Flame, Mind Blast.
Twisted Faith and Void Plague, really, they're the only things. But again, it is mana, and you know, when you put a few dots up, you're just going to find yourself literally wanding because wand will do more than Mind Flay. So, you know, they need to look at like buffing coefficients, and there's a lot that they need to do to make things actually feel more powerful as they go along. Because I don't think most of the classes are, when you really think about it. You know, your base mana that you're going to have, you're not going to have that much more intellect by the time you're 25, even if you're in full bis. You know, it's not like ridiculous amounts more than what your base mana actually is. So, yeah, giving you all these abilities but not actually being able to use them will feel worse than not having them, in my opinion.
I see how much intellect they have in the full inset. 163. Yeah. I'm worried about Shadow Priest still beating that just pure support one. I mean, Homunculi. I don't know. Still don't know how to say that, which I think is amazing. What do you think about that rune?
Yeah, it confuses me a little bit. Like, I don't understand whether it's meant to be a raid cooldown or it's actually meant to be a option if you haven't got like a warrior or a feral druid, or do you know what I mean? Like, if you haven't physically, in your raid, if you haven't got Sunders, you haven't got Thunderclap, or you haven't got Demo Shout, is it then, well, get the priest to run Homunculi? Which, when are you ever going to do a raid where you haven't got one, you know, you haven't got someone bringing all of those? So, like, for me, Homunculi would need to stack with all of them, so it's like an actual sort of deep raid DPS cooldown. And it's until I actually see it, I don't know. because it's a 2-minute cooldown. It doesn't even say on the tooltip how long they last. You know, is it like they're up until they're dead, or what? You know, do they despawn after 20 seconds? I didn't see anyone use it at BlizzCon, so I genuinely
I know
don't
they die from AoE damage, so I feel like they have a little bit of health and they're gonna die, and they kind of just. I hope it's a cooldown, like it stacks too. That'd be really nice.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm sure it'll have its uses, but I feel like it's, on the most part, going to be fairly pointless. Like in raids, I'd imagine it's just not going to be used unless
if it doesn't stack. Yeah, exactly. If it doesn't stack, you're not going to use it. Someone mentioned that there's Shadow Fiend in the 1.152. It looks like a mana leech. A Shadow Fiend's melee attack siphon energy from the target, converting its mana for its master. Converting it into mana. I didn't see that earlier. That's kind of cool. That makes sense too. I would definitely see some kind of Shadow Fiend. It's got to be really good though, in order for it to be like a rune, an entire rune for Shadow Fiend. Like you would have to have it be like, I don't know, good damage, a lot of mana or something.
Well, the thing is, like when you actually look at where Homunculi is, so on the leg runes, you really have got no options as a Shadow Priest, because like, you know, if we're talking you're doing BFD and it's a single target boss, you don't need Shared Pain. It's a single target boss. Homunculi, if it doesn't stack with like warriors and whatever else, it's not going to be needed. So you take that rune and never use it. You're not going to use Barrier or Prayer of Mending. So it's like Shadow Priest actually for single target in a certain group comp have got no leg rune.
That's what I'm worried about with them, is kind of the shot, and because their single target wasn't the best anyway, as it was, right? I feel like on some of these they're just wanding, like you said. You have Gravestone Scepter, level 25, like that does a lot of DPS. Like how many times have you doing hardcore or whatever, and you do a low level dungeon and you're using a wand and you're just carrying with the wand, put a couple dots in a wand, you know?
Yeah.
I think Mind Seer's a big deal. I like that they got Mind Seer. That's a very big deal, I think. So I'm glad they did get that, wherever that is, a glove rune, for a whopping 28% of their mana. Prayer Mending, I didn't even notice until I watched your video, but obviously we know what Prayer Mending does, where they take damage and it bounces, but the receive healing bouncing thing was big, and I didn't even notice it until you said that in your video. That's good for healing.
Yeah, it is. My only criticism of it is if it should only proc from your heals. If it procs from everyone's heals, then that's taking the control out of your hands.
Yeah.
You know, and it does read the next time they take damage or receive healing, but I'm hoping that like by the time it goes live, that says the next time they take damage or receive healing from you.
Yeah.
Because like if you're, it's just going to cause more overhealing. You know, if like everyone's on full health, but like I don't know, a druid pops wild growth, and then your Prayer of Mending just starts losing charges but not actually healing anyone. It's a waste. I would want to be able to do a rank 1 lesser heal to force it to jump, because it jumps with full duration again as well. So, you know, you can force it to jump somewhere and it's going to be there for 30 seconds. Like, it could be really good, but it also could be really bad if it just jumps on hots, you know.
I didn't realize it was a receive healing from not you. I hope they changed it.
I'm just grabbing a beer. They're literally right behind me.
No worries, no worries. I liked Priest. Priest, I hope I just want to play Shadow so bad, and I hope it pumps. I feel bad for Shadow Priest. I feel like Shadow or Death's not going to do shit. It makes sense that they added it, but... Circle of Healing!
Yeah, it's even that, man. Circle of Healing, like... It's so expensive.
Yeah, everything.
But
they need some mana help. I don't know how they'd get it, but...
Strength of Soul. Have you seen the change that they done to Strength of Soul, though? I mean, I feel like Prot Paladin's done better from it than Prot Warrior. Obviously, a Prot Warrior, if they've got Power Word Shield on them, and you've got the Strength of Soul rune, they continue to gain rage, even while they've got Power Word Shield on. But for a Paladin, and you've got Righteous Fury on, it will generate threat every time you get hit, as if you was being healed. You know, as in from the absorption effect, which is actually pretty good. And obviously, you'd be able to put it up quite a lot, but
what do you think is going to be the best healer?
Paladin.
Yeah.
I'm not just saying that just favoritism, but I mean, Beacon of Light. You know, Paladins are just they're already strong. You know, and having Beacon of Light, I think they'll have less mana issues than most. Because really, none of their heals are gonna be mana based. You know, as in percentage base mana based.
Yeah.
The only thing that you're gonna use that's actually base mana based is Beacon of Light. everything else you can downrank. Whereas the other healers, they're big heals, you know, like a priest using a circle of healing, for example, or penance or anything like that. They can't be downranked. So I would say a paladin are going to have the least mana issues. Whether that in turn makes them the strongest, you know, who knows? I know, and obviously, priest will always be good, but I just feel like, you know, even like prayer mending's amazing, but it's expensive, and you won't be able to downrank it. Circle of healing, penance, you know, all these really good healing abilities that you're getting, you can't do anything with. Whereas a paladin, you've already got the heals that you need, and you can downrank. Yeah.
What are you using as your chest rune? As for healers,
what,
nothing. Oh, I don't know
as a
anything
healer?
about paladins. Yeah.
Yeah, you'd run Horn of Lauder on.
Just buff it up.
Yeah.
Everybody's talking about
just
paladins being like some of the best. An amazing tank now, amazing DPS, amazing heals.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a lot of choice. That's the thing. I mean, you know, like, that's why I really like the look of actually being a holy paladin. Even though I'm going to be rep, but I will do some healing. It's because you're going to get beacon. You know, that's the only the only rune that's mandatory. Oh, and even that's arguably not mandatory. But of course, you're going to take it.
Yeah, you take that for.
But then you can just fit the group, what the group needs. Do you need a cooldown? Bring DSAC. Do you need to be able to, you know, get rid of fear and sleep? Bring exemplar.
Damn, we got these.
Do you need to bring an interrupt? You know, like if it's something that needs more interrupts, but bring a holy paladin with rebuke. You know, turn it into a kata style paladin. You know, if Horn of Lordaeron, pretty much you're going to run exclusively, I would say. But even saying that, you know, if you've got beacon on the tank and you run Seal of Martyrdom. You know, so you're actually up meleeing. Yeah. You know, I could see a world. Yeah, you're doing damage. You're taking damage. You can flash yourself, which is then going to heal the tank, and it's going to return mana to people. You know, there's a lot I think that you'll see paladins doing, and I do think they're going to play very. I don't want to say offensively, but yeah, you can feel a more or less what a DPS's job would be. In terms of interrupting or bringing cooldowns or bringing buffs or whatever, you know. I'm excited for it.
How do you feel about Ret? How are you why feeling on Ret? You think Ret's going to be god tier like everyone says?
No, not really. If I'm honest.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be all right, but they've just been nerfed pretty harshly. You know, as in Crusader strikes now on a 6-second cooldown instead of 4. Seal of Martyrdom's only single target now rather than cleave. I mean, they'll be good. I'm sure Ret's going to be good, but I don't think they're going to be god tier personally. I hope I'm proved wrong because I'm going to have a paladin. Yeah, I mean,
I think their tanking is going to be pretty strong. Like, you think they're going to be a solid tank?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, that I would definitely. I think they're going to be a solid tank, solid healer, and I think they're going to be a good DPS. That's what I was. Yeah, I think anyone saying that they're going to be like absolute god tier, we'll see. I hope I'm proved wrong because I'm going to be playing a paladin. But I don't know.
I just call it red coat, but at the same time, yeah. I think it like because of the S-Fan demo where he was just clapping, people just went big on like, yep, this is it. This is red. You see the damage, it's going to be great. Great AoE
but they've been nerfed since then, and no one knew what they was doing either. You know, wait till people actually know what they're doing.
That's what I tell people. Is that S-Fan went there a day early, setting everything up. He knew what he was doing, bro. People didn't know what they were doing. You can tell when people were playing it that they didn't know what they were doing with their classes because nobody knows, right? So it's hard to judge it, right? I've seen a mage cast slam frost bolts when you wouldn't even be doing that. So we don't know how any of the damage is, right?
No, exactly, and you know that's all the fun of it. I like that people are saying that their class is going to be overpowered. You know, like because everyone thinks their class is going to be the best class. That's why they're rolling it. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I'm probably not gonna play Paladin. My whole life, I just never really cared about playing Paladins. I think it's because when I was younger, when Vanilla was out, Vanilla TBC. My best friend was my cousin. We played all the time together. We lived together, and he was always a paladin, and I was always like not a paladin. So we never touched each other's classes, and I just can't. They're just so boring to me. I don't know why. I just feel like they're always it's just the waiting to swing. I don't know. Maybe I just need to play one. My mind would change. I don't know.
But I mean, now's the time because Paladin in classic era is incredibly boring. Like it's an auto attack simulator. But now with having Crusader Strike, Divine Storm, being able to seal twist still, which I'm assuming is going to be a thing. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. What about Warrior? How you feeling on a Warrior?
So what you just said about Paladin is me with Warriors. It's a class that I just rarely play. I've leveled loads. Like I've got one level 80 warrior on Wrath and a 77 warrior, which I like solo leveled in dungeons. Just because it's a bit of fun. I like them, and I think they're going to be good. And I think some of the runes they've got are really interesting. But it won't be a class that I even level, if I'm honest with you. And that's more like how you feel with Paladins is how I feel with Warriors. I've just never really been that bothered about actually playing a warrior.
Yeah, I don't know nothing about them. I just play one and listening a little bit, did for a little bit, and it was a lot of fun. And I feel like that's what everybody says. You wouldn't have quit Classic if you played a warrior. We're gonna find out. I still think they're gonna be. I think they're gonna be the best, probably up there with, if not the best, and towards level 40, 50, 60. Maybe at 25, who knows, right? I just keep saying no at 25, but who really knows how anybody's gonna be?
At 60, I think they're going to be. I think they're just going to be as good as they are in Classic era. Yeah. In comparison to everyone else, because they do just scale very, very well. We know that. But it's impossible to say. Like, this is why I try not to. I like to speculate about possible new runes and how the classes are going to actually play, as in rotation wise and stuff like that. But I don't even want to speculate on who's going to be top damage, because Blizzard could literally turn one class from overpowered to dog shit in one patch.
Yeah, they're looking for balance. They want to balance things, and I hope they can continue doing that. I don't want there to be just one class. I don't want to go to raid and see nothing against warriors per se. I don't want to see any class do that, but I don't want to go to the in-game raids and see you're stacking 10 of one class, if not more, if there's 40 men. Not against warriors, just that's any. I don't want to see a stack of warlocks, and I'm a warlock. I don't want to see a stack of mages, rets, nothing. I want to see you be able to play everything, and it's up there, and you're just not getting turned down. I know it's probably not gonna be like that. Like, there's always been boomies and shadow priests, for example, or even warlocks in Classic, where we're just bottom of the tier. I want everybody to be able to play what they like and not feel like you can't get a raid spot, or you can't play, or you're not playing this class, so you're garbage or whatnot. I really hope to continue doing the balancing.
Yeah, I'm with you. 100%. We know that people are going to stack whatever, like unholy DKs at the beginning of Wrath or even in Ulduar. They were just getting stacked because they were just ridiculous compared to everything else. We may see that, but as long as they then make sensible changes, it's difficult. They've got a difficult job. I don't envy them, because all of these classes have only been played internally and then briefly at BlizzCon. And they've got no idea what we're going to do with them. Yeah,
I feel like they wouldn't have to do that. Tamaka said, "Let's go." I hope they go easy on Nerf Hammer. I don't think they need to nerf. I think it's just one of those things where a couple weeks in, it's been a week or two, 10 days, so 2 weeks. Everybody's got their runes. The raid's been cleared. How many different times in 14 days, and they do one big patch or whatever, or one big fix where they just, all right, we're gonna even everything out. I don't want them to sit there and we log in every 4 days with an update to my Blizzard, whatever, they're balancing something. I just hope because you can do that. It's only level 25. After 2 weeks, you should get a good base on, because you can look at the top players. Logs are going to be working. They're supporting them, which I don't fucking like for some reason. And they're going to be able to look at them and be like, all right, this is crazy. This needs nerfed. Let's give them some mana. Let's buff this up. One big thing, and just let people play. I think it's gonna be great.
Yeah, I think the only hot fix is, outside of if something's broken. I don't mean broken as in overpowered. I just mean broken as in literally not working. Outside of that, they should only ever make class changes at maintenance. Yeah. When the servers restart each week, do a little couple of tweaks if you want. That's all I would do. Yeah, I wouldn't be like, oh my god, warriors are absolutely just destroying BFD. We need to nerf them, and then just randomly doing it. And then all of a sudden, they're crap, and then mages they've got to be sensible. They've got to really sit back and not make feral mistakes that they've done in Wrath.
Yeah. What about Hunter? Hunter's looking to be, in my opinion, one of the, if not the best, one of the best PvE and PvP.
Again, that's just had some nerfs in it as well. Yeah, but that's good, isn't it? It's good. If it's getting nerfed, then it means even with Blizzard playing it, it's strong.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the most interesting thing is I love Lone Wolf as a talent. I mean, I love it. That's one of my favorite things about being, I don't, in you retail, that taking a lone wolf talent, not having a pet. I don't know. I know it goes against it because you're a hunter and you should have pets, but we're in a game where there's no avoidance on pets or demons for that matter, and they can just get just instantly clapped out. They don't scale with the user. I feel like it's a big deal for them. And I like the nerf down to 15% only because if you look at a warlock, we have demonic sacrifice where we sacrifice a succubus for the same. So it's like, if you were given, you guys got 25%. Meanwhile, we didn't get 25%. So I wanted that to be roughly the same, closer to it, which it is now, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, me personally with hunters, like, I would only play it with lone wolf. I hate pet classes.
Yeah.
Like even warlocks to a certain extent, but you know, I can deal with playing a warlock.
Yeah, because it just feels like pets don't. I mean, I don't know about hunter pets, but demons don't really do that much. You can do some like machine gun imp stuff, like we're talking about with Fire Dasher, but other than that, I feel like I'm ready to dim sack that fucking pet and just go. You know what I mean? Just let me just do my damage and give me my 15%. So I'm glad. I am glad that lone, because that's the first thing I saw when I saw lone wolf, which is literally just demonic sacrifice, the same thing. I was like, damn, they get 25% on that. That's kind of like not fair, right?
Yeah, I've got a few issues with hunter, and I play a hunter as well in Wrath, as in raid pretty much. Well, not as much on it now, but I was raiding weekly up until a couple of weeks ago. I don't like the melee hunter. Yeah, me neither. If I'm honest. I know. I never did, even when they done it the first time. It's I don't know. It's not for me. And I like lone wolf though. I really do like lone wolf. I don't like the fact that aspects of the lion pretty much just requires you to be a melee hunter, because you're never going to use it other than being a melee hunter. Like the melee hunter doesn't have really many options. I suppose arguably beast mastery and carve on the hands, like that is an option, but everything else is just, you know, legs. You have to have flanking strike. Chest, you have to have aspects of the lion. There's nothing exciting there, is it? It's like if you want to be a melee hunter, everybody's going to be using the same shit.
Yeah, I feel like kind of cope. Maybe just a little cope.
Yeah. But no, it's all right. Like, hunter's all right. It's not something that I'm going to be in a rush to level, but I will. But I'll wait until I know exactly where and when I get lone wolf. Like, if lone wolf don't come till like level 20, then I won't be leveling a hunter.
Yeah, I like they got explosive shot too. I hope they give him lock and loaded or something down the road. That'd be kind of nice.
Yeah, well, it's interesting, isn't it, when you really look through all of these, like all of the classes. So, like, yeah, like you said, lock and load with explosive shot. You know, like you've said, Mage being able to get instant pyroblast, instant fireball from, like, if you was frost, instant, sort of arcane missiles for free. Like, all of the classes, even like rep paladins, they could potentially put in like the 2-set tier for tier 10. You know, for Divine Storm, where it's got not 40%, that would be ridiculous, but a chance at resetting the cooldown on Divine Storm and perhaps making it cost no mana. You know, there's a lot that they could do with these abilities that they've been given, and I actually think that is the direction they're going to go down. Rather than just constantly adding new abilities, they'll find ways to just improve the ones that we've got. I hope they do. Otherwise, it's going to be a bit of a shit show. But
yeah. I think I'm so excited for this fucking game. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, I'm really excited, like, to just get something to 25 as quickly as possible and just start seeing all the, you know, rune discoveries rolling in from everyone, and, you know, the interesting things. But I must admit, if they turn around and say that the raids are going to be 25 man, I will be mega excited for level 60, which I'm hoping then don't ruin the 40 and the 50 for me, because I'll just be like, man, I just want the raids. And I hope they phase it as well.
Yeah. Do you like the 10 man BFDs rather than 25? I know you like 40. How do you feel about the 10 man of it?
Yeah, I like 10 man. Like, I do like 10 man raids, and I think for what it is, it kind of makes sense. If it was 25, I'd be doing it. You know, like whatever. Yeah.
As long as it's not 40. Imagine a 40 man PFD raid. That would be so.
Oh man, fuck.
I don't think I'd play. Yeah, I honestly don't think I'd be playing if it was 40 men in these lower ones.
No, I think like, 10 is good.
What do you think the level 40 raid is going to be?
What, as in what actual dungeon do I think it's going to be?
Yeah.
I think it's going to be Nomergon.
Nomer? I would like that. No more SM. I need it in my life. I think. No more
I
SM.
think it's got to. So it's got to be, if they're going to go down the route of having a PvP area for each level bracket, which I don't know. Like Ashenvale might just be the zone, and you know, obviously it's got the like 10 to 25 bracket, and then it's got like a 25 to 40 bracket or whatever. You know, however they do that, and it's just Ashenvale that constantly gets used. But I kind of hope that they pick dungeons where it's now a new zone that's got a PvP, you know, event. So if it was Gnomeregan, then you could use STV, for example, or you know, because there was a portal into Gnomeregan. Well, there was another place
I was like, wait, how are you going to do that? I forgot about that portal. Yeah.
Yeah. So like somewhere like that, or you know, if it was Scarlet Monastery, then you could almost have like Taramil versus South Shore, couldn't you? Like that, because I know it's not in the same zone, but it's where everybody would go to then travel to Scarlet Monastery. Or the Horde would go to.
And they could always just make a portal or something to get. They can always add something to get transfer people anywhere. Like if they did SFK, like we were talking about earlier. I just want to see SM. There's nothing more than that. Besides like a BRD raid, I think a BRD would be the #1 raid I want to see in the world. And obviously there's a lot of PvP in those zones, as everyone knows. But I feel like that would be like that, and SM are my two. Like yes, I would love. That.
You'll hate me if I'm telling you what mine is. My dream, like level 50, let's say it was level 50, or even if it was an extra raid at level 60 as like the entry level raid before Molten Core, I'd love Sunken Temple.
God, I hate Sunken Temple. So many people have said that. I don't know why. I just like, I think Maraudon, the Sunken Temple, that would make sense. Okay, well, I don't know why. Sunken Temple, aesthetically it's dope. Like the bosses are cool. I like that. It's just, it takes forever. But I guess if it's a raid, it should take forever. But I like it because you can PvP in that zone. Size. Yeah, it really is. Like you can make that work.
I think for me, so like Gnomeregan, I really like the idea of, because as a feral in Classic, I would be farming it constantly for MCPs. Which I know there was someone who asked about MCPs, and I personally think they're going to get nerfed, but we'll see. I don't think we'll be farming them as druids anymore, but I could be wrong. And then of Sunken Temple, I used to farm pretty much constantly until I got I think it was the shoulders, the like Atalai spoilers of the monkey, which was agility stamina. So I used to solo that, as a feral, which was quite fun as well. So I've got sort of fond memories of that. I mean, if we was to talk a bit like never gonna happen, if we was to talk like really like blue sky thinking, I would love a Dead Mines raid. Yeah, me too. Well, the same thing with Sunken Temple. I think it's why I hate it so much, because Warlocks had to farm an offhand and hope that it rolled Shadow Wrath or some shit. I don't remember what it was called. And that's what made me hate it so much, was farming that, just having to go there the whole time and farming it. But I guess if it I don't like BFD much, like you don't, but it turned into a raid, so I'm gonna like it for a little bit. So I can put up with it. So maybe it would be nice. Yeah, exactly. I hate Sunken Temple in its current state, because the dungeon itself, you're only there for an offhand. Maybe you go for that staff if you're playing like hardcore or whatever. But I can see if it was in a big 10-man raid, it'd be dope too. Do you think they'll keep 10-mans in all the next phases? I feel like they kind of would, right? I don't know. I mean, they did say, didn't they, in I think, was it not in your interview with the devs, where they said like they've not decided on what the future level up raid sizes would be. They're still thinking about it. They're going to play about with it. I think it kind of depends on what their plan is for level 60, which I have a feeling we're probably going to find out before launch. Yeah. Spoiler. But if they're going up to 40 man, as much as I hate to say this, it kind of would make sense that the level 25, so BFD's 10 man, then maybe the level 40, which is Gnomeregan, goes up to like 15 man. With Scarlet Monastery as 20 man. That's kind of cool. Yeah, so you scale up, because that way in each level band you can slowly recruit to fill up. So it's like, right, at level, getting to 25, getting 10 people together to raid, no problem. Gives you all of phase 1 at level 20 to now start getting into more people. So when you're getting into Scarlet Monastery and Gnomeregan, you've got those extra 5 to 10 people. I know not everyone's going to need that, because like yourself, and even us, obviously our whole EU guild and most of our NA guild is going to be playing all on the same server. Mm-hmm. So we're not going to have an issue, but it would be nice, wouldn't it? That would help smaller guilds be have that time to build up.
Yeah. Yeah, this is future. The future of this could be big. Go ahead.
I hope it's all 10 man, and then we're doing 10 and 25 man at level 60.
Yeah. Right? That'd be so cool. All right, well, what about shamans? I'm personally really excited about shaman, even the enhance and the LA side of things. I don't heal, so I'm not a healer. What do you think? Do you like how you feeling about shamans?
I want a tank.
Oh yeah,
I want a tank as a shaman.
Completely forgot. I can't even tank. I didn't even mention that. Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
How do you think their tanking is going to be? You think it's going to be pretty good? Which I guess if you think in tanks in general, how do you think the tanking, how are they going to be? I know we're both doomers on rogue tanking.
Yeah, rogue tanking. Rogue's going to be like the perfect off tank. In my opinion. Please don't shoot me, rogues. Or don't shiv me. I think they'll be the perfect off tank. Shaman. I like reading the abilities and how it looks like they're going to play. I think at later level they're going to be really good. I don't think at low AOE level tanks. Particularly excitement. Yeah, amazing AOE tanks, and because the more ads, the more you've got hitting you, the more mana you're getting back with shield. When you're blocking with shield block, which is very like Paladin-esque. But yeah, I don't know. I want to play one again. The same reason I'm playing a regen mage. It's new. It's going to be exciting. I wasn't particularly excited by rogue tank at all. Warlock tank I really like the look of, but shaman tank, as soon as I started looking at the abilities, I was like, man, like I need this in my life.
Yeah, I described when I heard all the other tanks. Obviously, I'm biased to Warlocks. I was like, oh yeah, Warlock tank's gonna be good. And then I saw shaman and rogues. I was like, they're gonna be ass. But now that I've looked into shamans more, I think they're gonna be great tanks. I think they're gonna be great trash AOE tanks. When I say trash tanks, I don't mean the bad tanks, but like the actual like tanking the trash is gonna be amazing at it. Ellie looks amazing
as well.
Yeah, enhance.
I'd go enhance and tank. Oh no, I meant like enhanced DPS and attack tank. I wouldn't really play Ellie or Resto.
Enhance looks fun. I'm just worried. I don't think that their talent. They need dual wield spec. That's for Storm Strike. You don't have Storm Strike yet. You don't get Wind Fury yet. So I think level 25 they're going to be a little bit slower. I'm still going to play one, just because I'm looking to. I can't wait to play enhance at 40, 50, 60. For some reason, I think they're slept on a little bit. Not at level 25, but I think that down the road, you don't hear a lot of people talking about them. But I hope it puts Shaman in a very good spot. I think they'll be great. I hope so.
Do you think they need some two-handed love?
No, I like the dual wielding more than two hands, or unless you can dual with two-handers. That'd be kind of wild. Titan grip type shit.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, I love Lava Lash, love Molten Blast. Double Rock Biter down is gonna be dope. Watch your threat, obviously. I don't know. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun.
I'm kind of upset. I really think they should be two-handed, not dual wield.
Yeah.
I like dual wield enhancement. Don't get me wrong, and I think it's going to be great. But I think having a two-handed option, even if it was slightly lower, like in terms of sims, it simmed slightly lower than dual wield. Being able to get like Hand of Rag or something like that, with two hand and just one shot in clothes. That's my fondest memories of a shaman. Like not in classic era, I'm talking proper vanilla 2004. It was one shot in clothes because it was just fun when Wind Fury, and you got triple crits. Like it was so good to see. I would probably be even more excited about leveling my shaman if it got some proper two-handed love.
Damn, someone said I want shaman to get a two-hand, and I want them to get elemental grip, which allows a two-hander and main hand, but your offhand is still stuck with a one-hand or a shield. That's actually pretty dope. That would be cool. That'd be pretty cool.
I'd use that for tanking.
Yeah, that'd be super dope, actually. Yeah, I feel like, and Ellie, I think Ellie's gonna be carrying. I think Ellie's gonna do really good. I think their mana's gonna be fine. I think Overload is amazing. I think Lava Burst is amazing. I think they're actually gonna do very good DPS at level 25. I feel like the world is sleeping on them, but I could be completely wrong because I don't know anything.
I don't think you're wrong. I mean, Overload, the fact that they've put Chain Heal on Overload is fucking nuts. Like that is so cool.
Yeah, I think Wrestle's gonna be really good in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I want to play a Shaman. I know I said I'll play enhancement and tank, but like I've got to play about with Overload a little bit. Yeah. Even if it is just healing the odd dungeon. Because as soon as you just started talking about Ellie, I was like, oh shit, yeah, Overload. Yeah. That is the change they made to that is just bonkers.
Yeah, I think Ellie's gonna be doing that with those one taps. You get them casting in the background with their totems down. They're gonna be doing some damage. I like how you mentioned in your video, the Shaman one, how healing rain, where while it's nice, but it's like 15 yards around the target player and the party members, how it was like kind of like funky worded.
Yeah, there's going to be some abilities like that that are going to be really clunky.
Yeah.
You know, if like you see, like my problem with these effects is that they're visual effects. So I moaned about it for priests with barrier as well. Because you can see it. So, you know, like how would I know what party member has had Healing Rain cast on them? Yeah. How the fuck do I know? I just see Healing Rain and I'm going to go and stand in it and then I'm not going to get healed and I'm going to be like, all right, well, it weren't my party then. You know, but how do I know who that's been cast on? How do I know who Power Word Barrier has been cast on? I can just see a big fucking bubble that I want to go and stand in. You know, I unless it was only visible to the party that it was cast on, which there's no way they can do that. Like, that's my only issue with it.
I wonder if Shaman will get any quality like totem management. I hope they get like totemic recall, but that can't just be a rune. That'd be a garbage rune. That's just one slot. They just need to give them that. Like, hey guys, here's a spell. You can get your totems back. No one's gonna complain about. That's one thing that you can put in the game that I don't think anybody in the world would complain about. Besides that one random guy who's like, no, I like replacing my totems down, because there's always that guy, you know. But I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of quality of life changes across a lot of classes that actually could do with looking at some love. You know, even Warlock soul shards stacking. You know, like there's so much. You know, rogue poisons. That's a really big one for me actually, and one that I'm really gonna keep moaning about and banging on about, because rogues that want to use Venom, man, they're fucked.
They're next. That's the next topic. Take it away.
Well, yeah. So in vanilla, obviously the poisons only last 40 charges, and you're literally going to burn through 40 charges using mutilate and envenom. I said in the video, 30, like every 30 seconds you'll be reapplying them. But on the basis you'll probably use deadly brew, so you'll have instant on both. You're literally going to be fucking slapping out those 40 charges in maybe 20 seconds.
Mm-hmm. And you said it in the video where you're going to sit there and like, stop. Okay, guys, I had to stop attacking the boss so I can re-put poisons on. I started laughing when I heard you say that.
Or you're going to need like 10 daggers, you know, and they're just all in your bag with poisons on that you cycle through. Yeah. Like either way, it's going to be shit gameplay. Like that needs addressing. But like not just that. There's so many quality of life changes that would need addressing. Like that don't. I know that there might be people that are watching like either live or watch this back on YouTube that are like, fucking retail, go play retail, Scott. But you know, things like Paladin blessings, 5 minutes, that's dog shit. Put them up to 10 or give us greater blessings. Does that really affect the game? You know, is anyone going to go, I'm not playing if Paladins have got 10-minute blessings? You know, there's like reagents, you know, they're not glyphs, but they should add like utility runes. You know, let's say the cape has utility runes that remove reagents
rings
costs
or something. Yeah,
or that. Just somehow to get rid of fucking reagents out my bag. I don't want them in my bag.
That'd be really good, actually.
I'm just trying to think of what other ones the damage reduction for pets is another one that I've been thinking about a lot as well. Yeah, pets having avoidance. Otherwise, it's just gonna. No one's gonna use pets.
No, I
Simple
won't.
as that. You just get rid of them.
Trying to keep that fucking imp alive. You know what I mean?
Let me look. What other classes were there? This will be an unpopular opinion because I know part of the vanilla experience, which this ain't vanilla by the way, but part of the vanilla experience is, you know, timing cooldowns. You know what bosses you're going to use them on. But I'd actually love to see everything reset.
Reset after each boss. I'm down for that.
And that is the Wrath player of me talking, but you know, I like that. I like to be able to go full pump on every boss, not be like, oh well, this week I'll try and pass on these 3 bosses, next week I'll do the other. Like, no, fuck that. I want to pump on them all.
That's a good point. I feel like my classes don't really have that many cooldowns, but that'd still be a good point. Yeah, I feel like warriors have benefited the most from that one, right? Wrecking every boss. That'd be kind of crazy.
Yeah, I mean, maybe there's certain ones that are excluded, or certain abilities that are just tweaked so they're not ridiculously overpowered, or you know, whatever. But I don't know. It's for me a fun part of every boss fight is being able to like bloodlust and blow cooldowns. Obviously, we're not going to have bloodlust, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Was there any others? I had a big list of like quality of life where where they don't really affect like gameplay as such. It is more just convenience. If I think of any, I'll tell you.
No problem. What do you think about rogues in general? DPS, tank. Well, we already talked about tanks part of it.
I am gonna have a rogue for PvP.
Yeah, that's it. I feel like they shine in PvP right now.
I love the look of using quick draw between the eyes. Fucking, it's not. I'm still gonna call it Shadow Step, but it's not Shadow Step. Whatever it's called, Shadow Strike.
Yeah.
Like that for Ashen Veil PvP, or like even just sat ganking outside BFD, like at the stone. I am having a rogue, and I won't even. All I will be doing it on is getting the best gear as possible, and then PvPing. I will just literally just be an absolute prick to everyone. Outside of that, I'm not really bothered. The tank, I think, looks like shit. If I'm honest, I don't think it's going to be particularly strong. I think it will be like I said a little while ago, a decent off tank. I think it'll be fun. The dungeons, to tank. I'm not saying it won't be fun, but it might be one of those where you get a rogue messenger and you get a warlock messenger saying "Inv tank 4 gear score," and you take the warlock over the rogue.
4 gear score. Sorry, my dogs are barking.
I think assassination style, like mutilate and venom, if they fix poisons, that if they change poisons, then I would do PvE as well as like with mutilate and venom. Poisons. Yeah,
I think it's something that maybe it just slipped them and they didn't think about it.
Yeah, but yeah, rogue. I always love rogues. Anyway, there's not been an expansion where I haven't played a rogue at least as an alt. I really enjoy rogues. So 100%, I'll be leveling one. I think they look like they're in a good place. I just think maybe some of the tanking runes could do with just a little bit of a tweak. I like the idea of being a parry tank because it goes really well with riposte, and there's actually like a lot of things you could do with things like pre-med, initiative, like the actually being sort of a sub build tank going for ghostly strike for extra dodge as well. But it is now like a heavy avoidance, a heavy avoidance tank where you're gonna see when they actually get hit. And they're going to get fucking clapped when they act. Like, if they have an unlucky streak where they don't dodge and parry, it's going to be like healing a DPS. That's my worry. But yeah, I'll give it a go anyway.
Yeah. All right, well, last one is the best class in the game, and everybody knows it's the best class. Or maybe they don't know yet. The Warlock. How do you feel about Warlock? We already know how I feel about it, so I'll let you start.
Did you say the last class?
Wait, did we miss one?
You've missed the best class, but we'll do that last
because it's the best
class. No, it's fine. We'll leave Druid till last. It's cool. Then we'll get on to that. We literally haven't done Druid, have we?
We started with Druid, didn't we?
Did we?
Oh, no, we didn't. We'll save Druids for last. Yeah, because I actually don't know shit about Druids, and this is like my most hype thing of having you on there.
Oh, I was getting really excited. It was about to talk about Druid.
Oh, yeah. Okay. We can do Druid first. I'm down. Because I want to know am I coped out of my absolute mind in thinking boomies are not going to be that bad at level 25 or even further? Am I just like boomed out of my mind? Is he cutting out, boys?
Hello? Is everything all right?
I think we're good now.
Yeah.
Oh, yep, we're good. Okay, good. Yeah, am I boomed out? Cool. No pun intended. Boomed out of my mind thinking boomy's going to be good?
Yeah, I think you are, to be fair.
It just sounds so fun. It's like so close to retail almost.
I think it'll be all right, and I think they'll be able to do some damage because they've got Furia Storm Rage, so even when they're room, they're going to be able to do some damage because ultimately they're not going to take any of the other runes. Go's not going to like me for saying it, but yeah, I think you're sniffing something really strong if you think that they're going to be any good at level 25.
Yeah. All right, what about Druids?
I think they're going to be half decent. I'm not saying they're going to be terrible. They'll probably be able to actually do some damage, but it's going to be like do a little bit of damage, and then go Ohm after like 2 Starfires, and then you're just spamming Wrath while you wait for some mana to come back. The only good thing is Star Surge is only a 3% base mana cost. So, and it's on a 10-second cooldown, so you'll be able to like pump a lot of Star Surges out over the course of a fight. I don't know. I think they look a little bit lackluster. I think Feral looks far better.
Yeah, how's the Feral? That's what I want to know about is Feral. Speak on him. Obviously, Wind Fury, right?
Feral looks amazing. Yeah, I mean, even at level 25, I think Feral's going to be solid. You know, being able to get Wind Fury, bloody Mangle, Savage Roar. I mean, you've got your toolkit there, and you'd be going straight down to Omen of Clarity, and then taking 5 in Ferocity, and you'll be using your clear casts on Shred. We done a massive Druid deep dive. Literally, it was like 5.5 hours, and we spoke about every possible spec and build that you would go, you know, for Feral, whether you would go like Omen Rush, or you would go like improve Shred 1 point, or you'd go in Blood Frenzy 1 point. No, you're going to go Omen of Clarity, and it's going to be sick. I genuinely think out of the two, I think Feral's going to be stronger than Boomy, single target, 100%.
Yeah, it's the one class that we keep talking about that we don't know. They get a lot more damage.
You get more damage by not being the only Feral as well, which we should think about. Where as a Boomy, you don't get nothing. If you got 2 Boomies in the raid, great, you're still doing the same thing. It's if you're the second Feral in the group, you can keep Sunfire up, and we don't know how Sunfire's gonna scale, and it might not be as good as actually just using that energy on another Mangle or whatever. But potentially, if you've got 2, you could keep Sunfire up, and then have the weaker Druid just keeping Mangle up. I'm excited for Feral, like 100%. But I still don't think. Oh, I'll put it out there. Like, I still don't think they're going to be the strongest single target. But between Balance and Feral, I think Feral's going to be better.
What about tanking wise? How do you think Bear's going to do? Hold up.
Yeah, I've got some issues with. They're going to be great, like 100%. Like they're going to be. I want to say great. They're going to be pretty good. But you have got some real big decisions to make. So, you want to take Survival of the Fittest because it reduces damage taken while in bear form by 20%. And obviously it makes you crit immune, but you're going to have so much health as a bear, it don't fucking matter. But then if you haven't got Wild Strikes in the group, which is the Wind Fury, you're going to have to bring that as the tank. So if you're a Feral tank in a dungeon and you're the only Feral, which in a 5-man probably quite likely, you've got to be able to tank whilst essentially taking 20% more damage than you would like. Which that's a bit of a weird sort of position to be in. It's like, well, look, I can give you Wind Fury, but the healer's going to have to be on his toes because I'm taking a lot more damage. And then the same with Mangle and Lacerate. Yeah, go on, mate. And it's the same thing with Mangle and Lacerate, where Mangle, you really do want to use because it's actually a nice big slap in bear form. But then Lacerate is probably going to do more damage once you've got it stacked, but then you're relying on the fights lasting a bit longer because it's not until it's got 5 stacks of Lacerate where it's actually going to start doing reasonable damage. I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of these runes, to be fair, for Feral tanks.
Yeah.
The legs are all right because it's fairly you're just going to take Skull Bash. Or if you're the second tank, you might take Savage Roar. There is, if you're the off tank, then the decisions become a little bit easier. Of course you're going to go Wild Strikes, you're going to go Mangle, you're going to go Savage Roar, and then when you're not tanking, you go and Cat and start pumping. But it's anyone's guess at the moment, isn't it? How strong are they going to be? Fuck knows. Basically, that's my answer.
What do you think about Wrestle Druids? More cope. I love them.
Yeah, they'll be all right. They'll be all right.
I don't think they'll keep up Priest Paladins though.
I don't. And fucking Wild Growth is so expensive for what it actually does. Like me on my Paladin, you're gonna get a Druid put Wild Growth out, spending 30% of their base mana, and then I'm gonna use rank 1 flash heals to top all the people off that they've just put their hot on, and they're gonna do no effective healing, and they've just used a shit ton of mana. Yeah, it's like I don't know. I think they'll be all right. I think all of the healers are gonna be able to do what they need to do. But I don't know, a hot healer in vanilla with being able to down rank, and they can't. Ultimately, like a Resto Druid's Life Bloom, they're not going to be able to down rank. Wild Growth, they're not going to be able to down rank. Living Seed, they're not really going to get that much benefit out of early game because they're going to have such low levels of crit.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say at level 25, out of all the healers, that they've got the shortest straw. I'm hoping there's no Resto Druid lovers in chat, otherwise they're not going to like what I'm saying. But I don't like, that's how I feel looking at it. As a very, very, very long time Druid player, it's a shame that the new heals from runes can't be down ranked and are fairly useless.
I love Resto. That's been my favorite healer for a while, besides the atonement healing side of things, because hots and dots, I just love them and everything.
Oh, I solo heal raids, as in heroic raids. I solo heal in Kata as a Resto Druid. Like I love Resto Druid. I love Druid every spec, but that's why I'm probably more critical than most. I because I love every spec, I think I can already see the problems. And as I say, it is going to be mana. I mean, if you melee weave, early on, then that potentially could be good. So you go down to Omen of Clarity and you get up in melee, and then you use Life Bloom as a way to constantly be getting mana back to be able to afford to keep Wild Growth out as much as possible. I'll take a breath. Like, that could be really good. With a fast dagger.
You can only have one rejuve per target as well. Oh yeah, because isn't a talent where you can stack to them later?
Why can you only have one?
I don't know. Someone just asked that. Can't you only have one per target right now, starting out?
No. Well, I mean, not unless there's something about Classic Era that I've forgot. But no, you should be able to rejuve as many as you want, right?
One per target, he's saying.
Oh, one per target. Oh, yeah. I mean,
I don't think the double...
I'd imagine that'll change. Sorry, I thought you meant you could only rejuve one person. Hopefully that changes, because obviously in Classic Era it uses
they're saying if
persons
two
with the
Resto
highest
Druids,
power.
only one works. I don't think in any world you'd run two Resto Druids. I mean, you could, obviously, you can run everything as far as we know, but that's wild. Two Resto Druids can go wild.
Yeah, I'd imagine. I hope that changes, because that does kind of suck. But then you just plan it, don't you? You know which one of your Resto Druids has got the most spell power. They're the ones that blanket the raid while you're spamming rank 4 healing touch. That's been the way. Obviously, that's not going to be the way now, but you can work around that, even if that was the case.
There you have it, Druids. I don't know if I'll play a Druid. I kind of want one. I'm not sure. I want to play Boomy really bad. Herald just looks fun too. I think I'm gonna be doing a lot of Warsong Gulch, and I think Druids, obviously, as everybody knows, Feral and Warsong. I think everything Druid gets, they're gonna be like absolutely carrying Warsong Gulches. Those flags.
The thing is, Survival of the Fittest is so strong for every spec, because like if you think about being a Boomy, you got the choice between Fury the Storm Rage, which free Wrath's great, but in PvP, you're not in combat that long where you're gonna have to worry about free Wraths. If we're talking Warsong Gulch, you'll go in, you'll have a little skirmish, and then you'll have time to sit and drink, and then you go in, you have a little skirmish. Living Siege you're not going to use, Wild Strikes you're not going to use. So like if you use Balance or Resto, you can take Survival of the Fittest, where essentially now when you go in bear form, it's like a cooldown. Not only are you going to have loads more health and loads more armor, you're also going to be taking 20% less damage. I think PvP, Druids for PvP at the level 25 bracket are actually going to be really strong.
Yeah. God, I can't wait to do Warsong Gulches. This is going to be so fun.
Yeah, me too. I'm looking forward to doing a lot of PvP.
Yeah, we did Mage earlier, but you can look at the VOD if you go back, and we'll put it on YouTube tomorrow morning. Warlock's last one. Let's just get it over with. How do you think the Warlock tank's going to be?
I think Warlock tank's going to be very, very strong. And Wolf's Head Helm, just going back to that, because I hope Wolf's Head Helm, the benefit of Wolf's Head Helm ends up being a rune. That's all I ask. And I want it to compete heavily with another really useful rune.
Oh, that could be a very good one. Yeah, one chip shaping. Yeah, that'd be a good one too. That and like the MCP thing, right?
Yeah, but I want the Wolf's Head Helm to compete with a rune to the point where it is actually a difficult decision to use it, and it's not like, oh, I have to use this.
Like a no-brainer.
Yeah, because otherwise that would be boring. But I think that should be a level 60 rune. That's it. I don't think it should be before then, because I think on the basis it's a level 40 head. You know, if you could get it at level 40, that would completely make Wolf's Head Helm irrelevant and no point crafting. So I think you should have to use Wolf's Head Helm from 40 to 60. Then at 60, there's a rune that gets added before the raids that you could potentially use, so you can drop Wolf's Head Helm. If I was Blizzard, that's what I'd do.
Do you guys usually use this at 60 as well?
I was using it in TVC.
Holy shit. That's crazy.
I was literally,
really?
I was using it in Sunwell.
Goddamn. Yeah, they got to do something with that then.
Yeah, absolutely.
Classic's already easy with all this new power. It's gonna be really easy. Yeah. I think they're gonna buff it up. Like they buffed the outside world up, which that's the outside world, whatever. But I think they're definitely gonna do something with the raids. Even like the demo that we did with the 3 bosses, that was tuned down to make sure everybody can like have some fun in there versus what the difficulty of that's even gonna be. I can't imagine it's gonna be much harder, but you know what I mean.
Oh, is that a fact? I didn't actually know
that.
They
tuned it
that's
down
interesting.
A little bit slightly so people can clear it without having to get scared away. And we still died, like we wiped a couple times, but that was because we sat down, like Ompi and our like 10 people from Frontier, we just sat down, nobody knew anything. We just kind of like figured it out as we went. And then the second time around, we had Sarthe with us who did it with the devs, so he knew the mechanics, and then that was much easier. It was like way easier. So I can't imagine it'd be like.
It's interesting. Can you imagine if it was only running at like 50%?
Yeah. I wonder what it's gonna. Well, I hope I don't want it to be like I mean the harder the better, to be honest, in my opinion. Yeah. I don't want it to be that big of a pushover if that's all we're doing, and you get to do it every 3 days, because I feel like the time investment to get to level 25 is going to be quick, and then finding your runes, which is going to be as quick as you find them. We don't know, and then the raid, which you can do every 3 days. And I don't want it to be a blow over easy just because I'll personally get bored of it faster, which I already know I'm gonna get bored of it, right? But if it's
this might not please the casuals, but I'd like it to have a bit of a gear requirement. Like you do need to go and do some dead mines, get a few bits in there. You need to, like, you can't just ding 25 where you've just quested the whole way and you got 3 or 4 greens on and that's it, and expect to go and clear BFD. I'm kind of hoping that you need to sort of not do pre-raid bis, not to that extreme, but you need to go and maybe get Verigan's Fist as a paladin. Go and get a few, I don't know, Cruel Barb, get a couple of bits from Wailing Caverns. Like it just has got a little bit of a gear check.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, if we just walk in there, freshly ding 25, go in and clear it, it's like, we might as well now just farm this every 3 days and fuck everything else off.
Yeah. Which is very likely to happen, in my opinion. I still think it's going to be pretty easy, because the gear that we did it in was garbage. A little green, basic, int stam gear. So it'd be like, and not even the good int stam BOEs. It was just like some shitty, green gear. So I can't imagine it. Obviously the people are sweaty. We know the mechanics on some of them now. Like the 4 bosses, nobody really knows. Supposedly there was a guild that cheated their way through there. I don't know. I never heard about it, so I don't know. But other than that, nobody really knows the mechanics. So it's kind of one of those things you got to figure out. What happened to poison charges for rogues? I don't think anything happened to them. I think they're just saying that they need something to happen to them, so they don't sit there and have to redo their poisons and stuff. I think Warlock tank's gonna be great. I think they're gonna be single target threat monsters. I think they're gonna be great at it. I'm just super ultra coped out. I think their AoE is gonna be all right. AoE tanking. I don't think it's gonna be the best like some people say. I think you would just have a shaman or one of the other tanks, paladins, go ahead and just do that and let the Warlock do AoE DPS, because I think they're gonna be up there with the Mage. Obviously, I think Mages and Warlocks gonna be the top 2 DPS for AoE, like with the combination of Lake and Incinerate and all that, and then obviously Mages have the Living Bomb and Living Flame and all that stuff that they get to use.
What I like about it, and like you'll know better than me, if you fucking don't, there's something wrong. I like that there's a lot of options. That when I was like sort of preparing to do the Warlock video, and I was sat really thinking, what would I use this room for? Where would I use it? Why would I use it? Like, you could be almost a support tank, because Metamorphosis itself, the rune is so powerful, it gives you everything you need. You know, if you look at any of the other tanks, they need multiple runes to get what they need. You know, so a rogue, literally, a rogue needs 3 runes to tank. You know, they need just a flesh wound, which is their tanking rune, but you can't then just use just a flesh rune, because to get the benefit of it, you need blade dance. So, like, that's two of your three runes gone. You need that, and then for your hands, you could go for something else, but you're never going to say, oh, I don't want 10% parry. So you're going to take the 10% parry. Whereas a Warlock is like, here you go, have your hand rune so you can tank. It gives you fucking everything. Literally everything.
That's all you need.
So now, yeah, you're free to do what you want. Like, you could be a support tank and go Demonic Tactics to get 10% crit on you and your pet, to then also go Demonic Pact. So you've got more crit, and you're going to be able to then buff, because I don't see any DPS Warlock wanting to run Demonic Pact unless they're literally forced to. Whereas it's perfectly suited to a tank, in my opinion. Yeah, it's like, well, yeah, let the tank bring it.
Demonic Pact's going to be hard to play with, because your pets, they're just going to get clapped out. Obviously, not every fight, and you'll be able to keep it better, but that's going to be, I think that's going to be such a rough one. You're going to be, if you're pigeonholed, there's definitely going to be there's definitely a support role. There's definitely going to be one. You already know there's going to be, because you're still keeping your curses up, but I would hate to be the support lock right now. That doesn't sound fun to me. I wouldn't, because that's just going to be miserable. That's
why I'd chuck it on the tank. Honestly, I would just have the tank as,
or if the tank can hold, because the tank also needs to be able to hold threat. Classic is a threat tanking game, right? And I think a lot of these DPS are going to be doing a lot of pumping in threat, so you're going to have to keep it up. But I think it's one of those things where people always build for survivability, and then once they realize they're fine, they go for threat. I'm going to do it backwards. I'm building straight for threat. I'm hardcore building for threat, and then I'll adjust from there. You know what I mean? Because even like we did on the demo, I didn't have any threat issues. Granted, not everybody was playing correctly DPS wise, but I wasn't even playing correctly at the time too. So I don't remember anybody pulling off. It was just nice and easy when they did. When anybody does get somebody close, you have a taunt, back off. And I was just running the basic Master Channeler, tried Demonic Grace, and then when I switched to Incinerate, it felt way better, right? Yeah.
So one of the popular comments on the video that I put out about Warlocks was, well, firstly, when you're casting, you lose all your avoidance. Now, obviously, I looked into this, right? Like when I say things, yeah, I do at least make sure that it kind of works, even if not 100%. Like in full bis, you're gonna have what, 6% dodge, 7% dodge. So when you're casting, you'll lose 7% dodge. I'm sorry, if you need that 7% dodge to stay alive, you've got bigger problems than hard casting Incinerate.
Yep. Avoidance doesn't matter much.
And the pushback, like, you would like, maybe on fast hitting bosses you wouldn't run Incinerate. You know, on a fast hitting boss you might use Demonic Grace, even, because, you know, then it's probably going to actually be more beneficial. But it's only a 2-second cast on Incinerate. You know, even if you started casting after a swing and then it hit you once, you're still going to get it out in 2.5, 3 seconds, absolute maximum.
Which was happening to me in the video. I would hit it, and then it would hit me once, and then you just get it off. And it's just worth it for the 25%. And you also, a big thing people are worried about, it's not people, but the people who don't know what they're talking about are worried about. It's not that I can't avoid things when I'm casting. They're worried about that threat. So if I'm sit there hard casting Incinerate for 3 seconds, like, where's the threat going to come from? But it's like, you already have the threat. You're opening with Incinerate. Like, Searing Pain is huge. Like, it's going to be hard outside of you pressing your taunt button. You're not going to, like, I think it's going to be really hard to pull threat off a single target tank. I think AoE, I think you'll definitely, if a big AoE pumpers, I think you definitely will be able to pull off Warlock, because you're just tab incinerating at best, right? Unless you're spamming Hellfire, which I think that's kind of scuffed, until you get a Pyroclasm, whatever. But single target wise, it's going to be hard to, and I think you definitely can afford to incinerate that whole time if you need to.
I mean, like you said on the pole, if you incinerate on the pole, as it's running into you, you're probably going to get 3 or 4 Searing Pains off. Good luck to anybody getting, buffed incinerates, buffed Searing Pains off of the tank. I would single target tanking. I'd run Incinerate. I'd run Master Channeler, and I'd run Metamorphosis. For AoE tanking, I can't, to be honest with you, for AoE tanking, I would probably run Demonic Pact. Just because if there's more than one target, I might as well just be the buff bitch. Because Demonic Grace, I don't rate dodge at all. Like, especially if we're talking phase 1, you know, it's fucking like whatever. But I do like Everlasting Affliction and Shadowcleave. You know, so if you was to, you know, if there was you're tanking trash and you just literally corruption all three, or three of them, even if there's five, you know, you get it up on three of them, and then when you're cleaving, it's refreshing. It's not really much threat. You know, I still think Tab Searing Pain would probably do more.
Yeah, definitely.
You know,
I think the only time I like Demonic Grace, I feel like would be on AoE packs. Because there's just a little bit of dodge on them, but I still like being able to open with Incinerate even on a trash pack. I know it's only 15 seconds, but how long does the trash pack last usually, right? And then being able to run in there while you're incinerating. I mean, not incinerating, but you have a lake down, put up some Searing Pains, and you're spamming Hellfire, and hoping that you're gonna get some pushback. But like you said, Powered Shield. Eventually, you have a talent that helps with it. I think, and this is spicy. I think Master Channeler's bait. It doesn't heal for that much at all, especially because Lake of Fire is so big. Because you don't have to channel the whole Rain of Fire to put the lake down. You can just press Rain of Fire and then it's down, and then go back and you have 40% fire damage for your Searing Pains. I think Master Channeler is big bait, especially because you have healers to keep you up. Like I know that I'm not saying there's a time you would never use them, but I also like Demonic Tactics too. 10% crit, it's not bad. But yeah, I don't like Master Channeler too much. I know.
Yeah, and even at like higher level, obviously not relevant on at level 25 because you're only going to have one rank. But you could just literally like at level 60, you could use rank one Rain of Fire, just literally to put the Lake of Fire down, and jobs are good. And
it's going to be cheap, like mana wise.
So drop. Imagine the threat, right? So single target boss, you drop Lake of Fire, down on top of the boss as it's running towards you. You incinerate, and then obviously you'd run it now into the fire and start spamming fucking Searing Pain. Searing Pain with it taking like 65% extra damage. You can then just go AFK for the rest of the fight.
I honestly think it's going to be hard to pull. I think it'll be a little more. I think even on AoE, you could be fine. People cope with Cleave. Shadow Cleave is nice, but it does like 7 damage or whatever unless they change it. So actually, even with the threat modifier, people are like, yeah, but it's threat modified. It doesn't matter. It does like 8 damage, literally. So you're going to still go Shadow Cleave, but it's not doing some like big threat gen. All your threat gen is fire damage, is Searing Pain. That's what I like about it. And you can even build, like you have your gear sets where you're building for survivability, right? Like your main stats, stamina, armor. And then when you feel super comfy, you can even put some fire. Maybe just put a couple fire pieces in there. If you know you can take the hits, you know, this is our 4th clear, BFD. Oh, I know this Warlock doesn't hit that. I mean, this boss doesn't hit that hard. I'm going to put a couple pieces of fire, you know, fire wrath gear on. Fire your wrath gear, I mean, and have some fun with it. I think I'm like really looking forward to it. That nerf, 50% threat nerf, I don't think matters too much anyway. I definitely think they need to change, and you know, people hate when I say this, but they're definitely going to need to nerf meta in a way for PvP. Like, I don't know how you're going to balance that, because a Warlock in PvP in meta is going to be bananas. Like, you're just, you just emulate Corruption, Agony, Master Channeler, your drain on them, and then just spam Searing Pain with a free cast, no cast, and spamming Searing Pain. That's going to be wild. I don't understand.
What chest rune did you say there? Chaos Bolt?
No, chest rune, you'd Master Channeler. You Master Channeler, okay. You meta, and then you just put your dots up, you emulate Corruption, Agony, drain life, and then I was thinking
Chaos for PvP. I was thinking Chaos Bolt, Metamorphosis, Incinerate. So you'd literally like incinerate. Well,
meta and Chaos Bolt are both gloves, so you can't take both of them.
Oh shit! Yeah, sorry, it's Wowhead. Wowhead that's fucking.
If you're not meta, you definitely would do fire build, like your typical fire build. And I think that's going to be phenomenal as well. The problem with fire Destro, if you think about in terms of PvP with Destro, like the whole shadow burn, like down there, flag and all that, is the main. You need them to hold. You need to get the cast off, and what helps you get the cast off is seduction from a succubus for charming. But you don't have that. We don't have that at 25. We also don't have Fell Hunter at 25. So like the only at 25 you could really do is you're just metaing, put up an Immolate, a Corruption, an Agony, your Master Channel or Drain Life, make it a dot, and then you're just Searing Pain. Like, I don't think anything can fuck with that. Like, it's gonna be hard. Like, obviously I could be wrong, but I honestly, if they changed it somehow, I wouldn't mind. Like, I don't know how they would change it without affecting the PvE side of things, like the armor. I don't know what they could do about it, but that instant cast Searing Pains like is shocking. It's such a big deal.
There's nothing's changed with Chaos Bolt, is there? I'm just wondering why it is now showing on the chest on Wowhead.
Oh, I see it as gloves. I don't know. It's always been a glove for me.
Are you actually on the Wowhead talent calculator?
No.
Yeah, look, I'll send you a link. If you go to it and you go to the chest, it's showing on the chest as well. So it's still on gloves, but it's also showing on chest.
Oh, it's showing on both?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it is.
I mean, maybe.
Oh yeah, it has to be a bug because that's 5 runes on chest now.
Yeah, I was going to say, bearing in mind that obviously I've been looking at this today and it wasn't like that this morning, you know, and now for some reason it's on chest.
Yeah, that's weird. It was been a hand for as far as I know.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah, but I think that whole fire thing's going to be great, you know, especially when you get good flag, Ember Strike Ember Storm down the road. It's going to be a lot of fun.
What do you think about Shadow DPS though? I've got to be honest, like Haunt's great, but like if the mobs are going to die, like Chaos Bolt is pretty much going to do what 70% of their health more than likely. It's going to hit fucking hard. Like
I think AOE wise, Shadow Bolt Volley is really clever. And I remember they said that they chose between Shadow Bolt Volley or Seed of Corruption. And I just think I don't think Haunt has a place, or Everlasting Affliction has a place in Classic without like UA, which I think is going to come later on a rune. I think Unstable Affliction will 100% be a rune. At level 25, I don't see a good place for Haunt. To be honest, like I don't think the damage, it's not beating fire. The only benefit of going Haunt Affliction is that you have suppression. Like obviously with fire, you don't have much hit that you can get. There's not, unless they add hit pieces. I mean, you have the oil that you can do it. There's always those hit boots, but I don't think Haunt.
I suppose Shadow would be the leveling spec, wouldn't it?
I'm still drain tanking.
Heals.
Yeah, I would still be drain tanking, some form of drain tanking. Yeah, you could also do a meta. I feel like meta would be fine, but I think it's a good drain tank build. Everything is. Because you can master channeler without now you're drain tanking without needing the channel. You're just putting it on there and then going about your wanding. Now imagine like when you know how you level drain tanking and you put up your dots and then you drain life or you wand when you don't need health. Now you're putting up your dots, putting up the drain life as a dot and then wanding. So it's like I think it's still gonna be very powerful.
Yeah,
that's very powerful, very fast, and it's even better because they said they're buffing the outside world. I don't know how much they're gonna buff it, but. It's just
it's gonna need to be buffed quite a bit, isn't it?
That's what they said. They said they don't want people to pull the whole zone and kill them. They want it to be able to do damage when it hits you, which is gonna be great. I think you just wouldn't use a Warlock tank for Molten Core and BWL for the fire immune bosses, which is okay. I think that's what I'm worried about with Warlock is we're gonna do. I think honestly we're doing great. 25, 40, 50. You hit 60. Now everyone's like, oh, Warlocks are garbage because we have to be Shadow because everything's resistant to not everything, but a lot of stuff is immune to fire. So we can't play fire, so we're back to playing Affliction, which unless they give us more stuff for Affliction, like Haunt is amazing. Haunt is phenomenal in Lich King because it buffs your Corruption, but your Corruption does way more damage than Lich King. Corruption does not do that much damage in Classic. You're buffing your Agony, which does way more damage than Lich King. You don't even use Agony as a Warlock in Classic. You still are a curse bot. You still are putting up wreck, shadows, elements, all that. You don't have Unstable Affliction. All you're doing is buffing up a very, very wet noodled Corruption. And then Everlasting Affliction is another.
Change it, Crix.
Yeah, they got to change something. Affliction needs something. Yeah, cool. Everlasting Affliction. All you're doing is saving one global for me. One little Corruption global. That's all that's doing. Yeah, everybody, people sweat it. So I don't know. I feel like I hope Affliction gets more love because I love Affliction. But I 100% can. I think even without the hit, even with suppression on the Affliction side of things, I think Fire Destro is just gonna be way ahead of it.
So with resists on bosses, like that will end up I would put money on it right now that it will go to a more Wrath style of resistances on bosses because you've only got to go through all the classes. As in like Hunter gets explosive shot, mages have got living bomb, lava burst, lava lash for shamans, chaos bolt, incinerate for warlocks. There's no way you can then go into Molten Core and have fire immune bosses. Yeah. Not only that, I know it's only one boss, but Shazra would absolutely make a mage healer just irrelevant.
Yeah.
It does take arcane damage, but it's just got ridiculous resistances to arcane. We was looking at like Boomy logs from Classic era, looking at their Starfires, and you're talking like 1 in 2 resists, like 50% resists. Like if you're doing no damage, you're doing no healing. If you're doing massively reduced damage, you're doing massively reduced healing as a mage. So, like they've got to just get rid of that shit. Especially with the base out of 9 classes, they've gave what 1, 2, 3, 4. So nearly 50% of the classes they've gave fire abilities to.
Yeah, they got to change it a little bit. A lot of these classes that are my dogs are back. That have like we can just go Affliction. Mages can go Arcane or whatever. But I hope they change it because this is a problem that we just like fire. Fire's fun, man. Fire Destro is just a lot of fun. So I hope they do something. But also, if you're Warlock tanking, That's all fire.
Yeah.
So they got to change something.
Yeah, definitely. And nature, like Resto just said as well.
I hope
With
they have,
bosses that are nature immune, they just need to get rid of that completely.
I hope that they have a mobility glyph. Like on our glyph, a rune slot, like maybe like your boots classes have a mobility one. Because I want not Demonic Gateway, but I want the portal that from retail, the one you put down that goes out like 20-30 yards and everybody in your raid can click it and go.
Can use it, man. That would be insane.
I would so prefer that over the gateway. And it makes sense, boots, mobility, because like a lot of classes don't have mobility. So it'd be kind of cool to have like some kind of options on mobility, or give you an option of something mobility wise, but something that's not really damage wise, but something that helps you. I don't know. I'm coping.
Yeah, I think that's I think that's great. I think boot slot would be perfect for it as well. I like, genuinely, that is amazing. And you could think of like things for loads of them. You know, mages where they get 2 charges of blink now. You know, hunters disengage can now actually, it disengages. It actually jumps back. You know, I don't know, shamans, ancestral, what was it called? You know, ancestral walk-in or whatever it is, where you can cast while moving the whole party.
Ooh, yeah.
You know, there's movement things for every class and spec, you know, that's added throughout retail. Yeah, man. I think that's a great idea. Yeah.
That blink, what's it called? Stutter or whatever. You blink, but you go back to where you blinked from.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean. No, it's cool, man.
Well, I think we did it. It's about 2 hours here, bud. I don't know if you have anything else you want to touch on.
No, man. No, thanks for having me. That was really fun.
Yeah. Our boy Sarthe is at maybe wondering. I saw people ask. He's visiting his grandma-in-law, so he couldn't make it. Yeah, that was episode 40 of Classes Life with Scottejaye. I appreciate it. Scottejaye also has a podcast as well. I'm gonna link his stuff. I'm on. I think he's doing a Warlock and a Mage deep dive on Tuesday with me.
Tuesday, you're there, man. Yeah, we've got you Tuesday, Sarthe Wednesday. Hopefully he's still not with his grandma and he turns up.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Here's the page for his podcast. He's got it up here. They just did here. I'll just link the whole playlist for it. They just did a priest and a paladin one yesterday, I think, or the other day, which has been dope.
We done druid yesterday. We got warrior and literally, our podcast starts in 50 minutes with WillE. So me, Go, and WillE doing warrior and priest.
Hell yeah, that's great because our next guest is WillE as well. It's a couple days, so that's kind of cool.
He's gonna be a busy boy.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. It's a good time to be busy, man. It's a beautiful time to be busy in a game. We are all waiting for this to come out, and I'm so excited right now. I'm very excited for it.
Me too.
We'd love to have you back on after, I don't know, a month into the phase to see what's changed from everything we've talked about and see how you were feeling about how powerful boomies are. You know what I mean? And
anytime you invite me, mate, you know I'll be here.
Yeah. All right. There's this Kick. He streams on Kick, so that's where you go to follow him if you want to watch the streams, and his YouTube, obviously.